Good afternoon, everyone. This is Abhay here. I hope you can hear me. If I'm audible, can somebody just type in the chat that I'm audible, just to confirm? Yes, great. Thank you. Thank you, Girish, Janvi. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Today, as we know, we have organized an interactive session on anthropology, or rather, the popular anthro, as an optional subject for civil service exam. We all know that it has become a very popular subject for civil service aspirants in the mains exam in the last some years. And I was just doing some research on the 2017 exam, which is the latest report of UPSC that is available. It has a success rate of 9.7%. Approximately 10% of the people who take mains with anthropology, they are able to clear this exam. So that makes it the 15th most successful subject out of 44. That was very interesting statistics for me. Anyway, so today we have with us Varnit Negi, who secured rank 13 in the 2018 exam, and he's currently undergoing training in his cadre, that is Karnataka. And if I'm not wrong, Varnit, you scored 331 marks in anthropology in the mains exam, right?
Yes, sir.
Great. So, Varnit is going to share his strategy on the syllabus, books, notes, tests, whatever else is required for the first 20 minutes today, say till 12:30, and then we will open up the forum for questions from the attendees who are present here. Varnit, right now the house is full. We have somebody just left, so we are 99. The maximum is 100. So that's a lot of aspirants. And I would request everybody to keep yourself on mute while Varnit is speaking. After his initial talk is over, then we will open up for questions, and at that time I'll intervene. And I want it to be interactive session. Hence, I will request you not to type your question really, but to ask Varnit face to face. And for that, if you can, make your video, on, that will be useful, because when Varnit is speaking, I don't want him to speak to a blank screen. It becomes sometimes very weird to speak to a blank screen. So if some of you at least can keep your cameras on, it will be, I think it will keep him also engaged, and me as well. And lastly, before I invite Varnit to take over, with all due respect to your fundamental right to privacy, I must inform you that this session is being recorded. Your presence here itself is a consent that you are willing to be recorded. So of course, this much you'll have to give up a little bit of your rights if you want to be participant here. So without any further delay, Varnit, over to you. It's your session now. Go ahead.
Thank you, Abhay, sir. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me for giving them a session on how to prepare anthropology and score better marks in anthropology. Very shortly, I would like to tell you everyone, because without wasting any more time, that I have given 3 attempts with anthropology. My first attempt, there is a difference between 3 attempts, and that is very important for you all to understand. Just I want to ask, sir, I am audible? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Yes. So I have given 3 attempts, and it is important for all of you to understand what was different in all 3 attempts, because I learned a lot in these 3 attempts. In my first attempt in CSE 2016, I had prepared just for 3 months, basic coaching at with Vad sir, and then I went for the exam right away. So I could not complete the paper. 100 marks was left blank in anthropology. I scored 233. Next, in the next attempt, I decided I should complete the paper, and I practiced a lot of tests on my own, and I completed the entire paper, 500 marks, and I scored 288. In the third attempt, what was different was I approached some of the toppers of that time, Ayush Sinha, Ashma Mittal ma'am, Harsha Koya, 6th, 7th, 13th ranks, and I asked them what was different in their approach in writing the answers, because I was clueless why despite writing everything, attempting everything, reading the entire syllabus, I scored only 288 while they scored above 300 marks. So it helped me a lot actually, and that is what I will share with you. That in the third in the final attempt, I focused mainly on value addition of my answers. So which made my answers a little different, not a lot of difference, but a little different from what is what usually aspirant writes in an anthropology paper. Okay, so this session will be for. I hope everybody is writing anthropology mains this year. Hello. Can anybody just type? Okay. Okay.
Well, Varnit,
with
they
anthropology,
wouldn't know until the result is out, but I'm sure everybody is hopeful. Though we have some members present here who know that they are not writing this year. But I think we can
Okay.
assume that they are writing this year, and there are specific questions for next year they can ask later. But let's focus on how to prepare in 3 months, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, okay. Now, so I will be guiding everything. First of all is anthropology. In anthropology, while preparing, the most important book or the thing that is to be kept in mind is syllabus. Each and every word of the syllabus is important, and you should have a 2-page note on each and every word of the syllabus. Okay. This is the most important thing. Don't go for coaching materials, toppers notes, and other things. Your focus should be preparation of syllabus, and that is true for your GS also. Okay. In second thing is one thing common in everybody who scores good marks in anthropology is self-made notes. Here I want to explain, because some of the questions that I read from you all were, sir, can we refer to your notes for the syllabus itself? See, when I'm making notes, I'm reading different sources, 4 or 5 different books, and then combining the good points from every book into one page or 2 page in that syllabus. But at the same time, I'm also grasping a lot of things in my subconscious. A lot of understanding goes in by reading the books. So don't ignore books. Use toppers notes or any other coaching material as a reference material. Book should be the primary source of your syllabus preparation. Second, after that is writing practice. You should see in anthropology one benefit is there, that most of the questions are where you can already prepare for it and directly write in an exam. You do not need to make new answers in the exam center itself. So you should prepare your notes in a question answer type format, where there is a proper introduction, where there is a proper structure, where there is all the different parts of the structure: body, criticism, thinkers, and finally conclusion. And recently, a new way to conclude the topics, conclude the answers has come, where the toppers use recent relevance of those things. I'll give you one example for this. In Sachin Gupta rank 3, his notes, when I was going through it, I found out in one topic, altitude stress, nutrition stress, cold stress, hot stress, he has concluded it saying that it is relevant because our defense personnel goes in Siachen, they also go to Bikaner, where they face extreme cold, extreme altitude, extreme hot desert environment. So how does their body respond to those changing environmental conditions? So hence, while concluding, he wrote the relevance. Why do we need to study that particular topic in anthropology? So that makes all the difference. You have to have such kind of points to give you an extra edge. When the examiner is reading, he will understand that you have a practical approach to anthropology, where you are thinking, why are we reading it? What is the future of it? So these kind of good conclusions has to be prepared for most of the answers. See, it will not be possible to prepare for every answer, but for most of the answers, if you can prepare, that will give you an edge. And this is the biggest value addition that I did in my last attempt, where I increased almost 43 marks in my overall anthropology paper. I improved on introduction and conclusion of my answers, because rest of the answers are not going to change. 90% of the answers points will be same. You cannot change genetics, you cannot change other things. The principles will remain same. But what you can do to impress the examiner is change the introduction and change the conclusion. Also, use of thinkers and very apt examples is very important. I'll give you one example from paper 2. In tribal related questions, let us say there is a question of 200 marks, 20 marks. Now, usually you will hear from every coaching institute, every person who is guiding you, he will say that in paper 2 you have to write case studies. Now, when I was writing the test papers, when I was writing previous 2 attempts, I was clueless what to write in a case study, how to write a case study, how many should I write, and what should be the length, and what should be the rest of the answer. So I'm going to tell you that when we write in paper 1, we usually write examples, not case studies. When we write paper 2, we write, if we are writing the same example, but we'll elaborate that in a paragraph. And maybe you can draw a box also if you want to highlight that you have written a different case study here. So, for example, let us say there is a draft forest policy is there, and there is a question in which you have to discuss the impact of forest policies, forest laws on tribals. Okay, so when you are writing, first you will start with the introduction. They live in a symbiotic relationship, and they have lived in a symbiotic relationship since years and years. So they are conserving forests. So they are not encroachers. Then next you will write what are the different acts and policies which have a bad impact on our tribal population and where they have been evicted. You will write some of the examples at different places that this tribe in this national park was evicted in this year. Then you will write about also government has promulgated FRA, Forest Rights Act, which gives them the right to stay in those forest lands. Then you will give one example where Forest Right Act has been a boon for these tribal population. For example, in Garhwali, these tribal populations, they got community rights, and then based on after selling the bamboo from those community rights with the help of forest department, these gram sabhas and the people, they improve their standards of living. So you can highlight this as a case study where it had a positive impact. Then you will come to another, but you'll say, however, if you look into the statistics, almost a lot of the forest right applications have been rejected. There you will give some data from the government website saying that almost 50% of these have been rejected. Then you will tell the reasons that are cited by the various government departments to reject those forest rights. Then you'll give some examples where they have been evicted unceremoniously because of they were said they are encroachers, not actual dwellers. So here you will again cite example, again a small case study you will cite here. Then at the end, while concluding, you can give out your suggestions as to where can we improve on Forest Rights Act. So, for example, in my answer, I also cited that one of the problems that government said was that there are no documents to prove that they were there for last 3 generations, 75 years. So, what I cited as a suggestion was to use anthropology ethnographic studies conducted by various anthropologists back in 1980, 1920, 1928. By, for example, Veriel Elvin, he went and lived with the Baga tribe. Okay, so that document is a proof that they had been living in that particular part of the country and that particular forest for since then. So it can be used as a evidence of their habitation in that. So such kind of suggestions you will have to come up with, and it will be a good conclusion for your answers. So this is where it impresses the examiner, and he will give you extra marks for it. Again, we all know that often it is said that toppers do the same things differently, and I realized it when I compared my answers in 2017 with that of Harsha Koya. He was ranked 6th that year in that examination. So he cited the same examples, he cited the same material, but his introduction, conclusion, and way of presentation with diagrams and the flow, proper structure and flow impressed me. Even I would have given him 2 more marks. So I would suggest everybody of you to at least once visit his blog. I should just type Harsha Koya blog and visit his blog. He has posted his answer sheets, and some of the answers are very impressive. So I would like to suggest you all to just do that once. Another very important thing which most of us miss out while preparing and writing the answers of anthropology is interlinking of topics. Okay, what do I mean by interlinking of topics? We all have read theories of anthropology, structuralism, functionalism, structural functionalism. So while writing an answer for changing family due to urbanization or globalization, you can write the answer in a way. If we look at the structural approach, following things have changed. On the other way, while structural, the size has changed. From a joint family, we have come to a nuclear family. Then on the other side, functional side, you can see the family role of parents, role of grandparents. They have been given to right now to schools, to caretakers, to other people. So you can use the same anthropological terms here to have an anthropological answer rather than a social answer for that. It's not a GS paper, so the more you use your anthropological terms in your paper, it will be better. It will look as if you are applying those theories here to write these answers. Then, similarly, do not create boundaries between paper 1 and paper 2. You can use both interchangeably. For example, if you are writing an example of scope and meaning of economic anthropology, okay, if you are writing this answer, you can use the example of Jajmani. Nobody is stopping you from citing some of the research done by various anthropologists with respect to Jajmani. Jajmani is a social concept as well as an economic concept. So you can, by giving this example, you can justify why should we read economics in anthropology. And also at the same time, you can we have read about Kula, Kotlaj, and other things. We have read fundamentalist versus substantialist debate. We all prepare those answers. So you can use Jajmani as an example also here by simply applying it here. So this was one of the difference that I found, and I used it in my answers. I was using various topics across the same paper 1, paper 2, interchangeably. If some concept is relevant here, I would add it here. So this shows that you are able to apply what you are reading, and it impresses the examiner. So these are few points that will help you to enhance your marks. Apart from this, there are some topics which most of the people ignore. Okay, most of the people who are underprepared, they ignore theories. So and they ignore physical anthropology part. In my opinion, these two topics are most marks fetching, because if everybody is writing the same answers, everybody's answers get cliched. The standards of answers get averaged out. But if only few people are attempting a particular answer from a particular topic, then if you are writing that answer, if you are writing a good answer, you will definitely get better marks. For example, in my last attempt, I wrote an answer on language and culture. Usually, language and culture related theoretical approach of Greeks and other people, usually aspirants do not write these answers. But I wrote this answer, and I wrote it good enough with theories, with proper case studies, with proper explanation, and probably this would have impressed the examiner, because if I remember, I got 171 in paper 1. So such theories forms a very important part, because it is used in different answers also. So prepare this theories part very well, because every year you will get at least 80 marks of questions from these theories. So single topic, if prepared very well, you'll find it very easy and convenient to write these answers, and it will be a prepared answer. So you will not waste much time writing the answer. Apart from this, for this completing the test paper, I saw some of the questions that were posted by you all, and Abhay sir shared it with me. Some of the questions were regarding what to attempt first and how to complete the paper, especially the paper one. So as I told you, in my first attempt, I could not complete 100 marks of paper. So in my second attempt, I changed my pen. I sat in the library and wrote many tests on my own. I used to practice writing. So first is practice. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Second is your preparation. The better preparation you have, if let us say that you have to answer total 19 questions, if you have at least good answers prepared for at least 10 to 15 of those, then you will be able to complete the paper on time. And third, and the very most important thing that I did was, I used to attempt 10 markers initially, both question number 1 and question number 5, all 10 markers, 10 markers. Initially I used to complete in 70 minutes. Okay, so as soon as I completed these 10 markers in 70 minutes time span, I was relieved that now I have almost 2 hours to write just 3 answers of 50 marks each. And hence, in my last 2 attempts, I could complete the paper comfortably 5 minutes before the schedule. So I planned my approach in a way, 35 minutes for each 5 marker, and 35, 35, 35, 35, and the last 35, after that 5 minutes you'll have as a buffer. So even if for completing the initial 10 markers, if you take 72, 73 minutes, you will be in a comfortable position to complete the paper. Another thing I want to clarify to all of you, after my first attempt, most of the people told me that we should complete the paper. Okay, so when I actually tried to ask people how they completed, so they were okay for initial 4 questions we wrote nice answers. For the last one, we just had 10 minutes. So within 10 minutes, we wrote 3 questions, wrote something something for all the 3 parts of the question. So that is not what is meant by completing the paper. By completion of paper, even for your last answer, you should have sufficient time left. Even for the last 10 marker, you should have 7 minutes left. For a 15 marker, you should have 10 minutes left. So that is the idea of completion. So that each and every answer of yours gets equal time to think and ponder and write. So this is very important. This will improve the quality of answers that you write overall. Okay. Apart from this, some people have asked me whether we should go for quality or quantity. See, quality and quantity both are very important in anthropology. Quality wise, value addition, examples, case studies, thinkers, your introduction and your conclusion, they help you enhance your marks. But if you do not have enough content in it, the body part is not enough, then you will not get good marks. So even for a 10 marker, I used to write the same answer that I would have written for a 15 marker. I used to fill the entire 2 pages for it. So for a 10 marker, my focus was you should write complete answers for your 10 marker also. If let us say a question might have come for PVTG's related short note for a 10 marker and a 15 marker, I would have written the same answer for both. Same subparts, same subheadings, same examples. Only thing is, I would have reduced my literature part, is and are, or maybe my example or a case study might be short one. Maybe case study I would have reduced it to 2 or 3 lines, but I would have written all the points. So this is very important for getting good marks. That focus on your 10 markers. It is very important. 10 markers, because 10 markers, there is an exam psychology. When a person is checking your paper, out of 10, when he is giving you 7 or 8, he does not feel as if he is giving you a lot of marks. But when he is checking your paper for a 20 marker, after giving 13 or 14, he will think, okay, I have given him too much. 16 is way too much for an answer. Okay, so that is a part of exam psychology of an examiner who is checking your paper. So focus on all the 10 markers. And again, in anthropology, do not ignore diagrams. Diagrams are very, very important. And for diagram, I would like to suggest all of you that what you do is try to recall the diagram. Sit with a A4 sheet of paper and you start writing the answer there. Making diagrams. You start making diagrams without seeing anything. It's like a brainstorming thing with respect to diagrams for all fossil evidence and all different topics. Just practice those on a regular basis. So at the exam, it will come very fluently and very easily, and you will save time on it. Hello, Abhay sir. I have already completed the due time given to me for telling you all. So now I would like to invite you all for asking me questions. I'm ready to answer any question, any query that you have.
Great, Varnit. Thank you, Varnit. Now I'll request everybody to just type in the chat that you have a question, and I'll invite you to ask a question. So, just taking from Rakesh Yadav, you want to ask a question now, Rakesh? Rakesh Yadav? Okay, UPSC has a habit of crushing popular optionals.
Yes, sir. Sir, I read the question. So I would like to clarify. While preparing for the exam, prepare it with the right attitude. See, even when it was said that public administration was getting crushed, when sociology was getting crushed, there were toppers from these optionals. Okay, so your attitude. I will give you example. When geography was crushed, Pratham Kaushik scored highest mains marks in that year. Okay, when sociology was not getting good marks, Anu Kumari got second rank that year. Okay, so what your attitude should be while preparing is, you should think that if 100 people are going to write this exam, I will be in top 5. Okay, so whatever be it, however difficult the paper will be, however difficult the copy checking might be, I will be there on the list. So instead of focusing on all this, you should focus on the optional that you have already applied for and start preparing for it.
Yeah, I'll just add to that, Varnit. As I began this session by telling you the success rate of people writing mains, it is close to 10%. So
Yes, sir.
that's what Varnit said, that if you ensure that you're in the top 5, I'm saying even if you're in top 10, you'll get a rank. But if you're in top 5, you'll get a good rank. So the point is key, there is always a difference between somebody who's prepared well and somebody who also appeared in the exam. So you really need to ensure that you are ahead on the curve. Essentially, it again comes back to what Varnit very nicely has put up. It's your attitude towards this exam and your preparation. Not everybody will qualify, but you need to shine amongst those who are appearing. Okay, great. Thank you, Rakesh, for asking that question. Prashant Chaudhary, you can ask. Unmute yourself and ask. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I want to ask about the thinkers part. Can you please tell me the source to refer for thinkers part, as I have only 3 months left and only thinkers part left in paper 1.
Okay. So for thinkers part, there is a website. So in most of the blogs, when you search for anthropological thought, even on the Google, it will lead you to one university website. Even different universities lead you to the same website, where various anthropological theories have been discussed very nicely. Okay, from there you can prepare your theories and thinkers. Second source of thinkers preparation is Makhan Jha's book. But in Makhan Jha's book, it's very complicated. Even I at times felt difficult to understand from that book. So third was Telugu medium. I had a printout from a Telugu medium book, which in a very easy manner, it used to describe various theories. So apart from this, I also used various thinkers related and theories related topics which were there in Nadeem Hasnan, Indian Anthropology of Nadeem Hasnan, and Upadhyay, as well as U.S. Mishra and Nadeem Hasnan's Sociocultural Anthropology. So whatever relevant things I used to get from different parts, reading different books, I used to club it at one place.
Okay.
Sir, one last question. Sir, which test series you refer during your preparation?
Okay, for test series, see, for first year after doing after taking coaching from Ved sir, what I did was I enrolled for his test series only. Okay, I attempted test series with him. After that, in the next year, I enrolled for L2A test series. But I have written only 2 tests there, and rest again I went to Ved sir and wrote the test series there. In my third and final attempt, I was so busy in value addition that I could not write a single test. So, and anyways, I used test for checking my own for a self-assessment of my time management and way of answering questions and structuring of answers. So that I had already done nicely in my previous attempt. So I did not write any more test series in my third attempt, not even a single test for that, and I just focus on value addition on my third attempt.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prashant. Praveen's question is again the same. Theories, how to go about it. So I'll leave that aside. Abhishek Jadhav, you can unmute and ask your question. Abhishek Jadhav. If you're not there, then Parina Verma. Parina,
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Sir, to know about how to like value addition. You said, na. I wanted to know about value addition in paper 2. Like how we can add Kaka committee reports and statistics and all. How relevant is it, and how we can like remember every fact, and how we can complement our answers with that. If you could just
Okay.
throw light on that.
Okay. For especially for paper 2, your Khaka committee report is your Bible. It is
Yes.
the brilliant document to understand what are tribal issues. For everything, you'll get very nice information in it. There are many case studies also that you can use directly from Khaka committee report. Apart from that, these case studies have been cited from certain studies, certain government website. Okay, rural development ministry, tribal ministry. Main Bhi Bharat is a Rajya Sabha
Yes,
TV
yes, sir.
episodes. You can just watch it, and it's very easy to remember after you watch. It's very interesting, and you'll remember those facts and figures and examples right away. Okay. Apart from that, EPW, developmental files, and many examples and newspaper cuttings you can prepare, because in newspaper also on a regular basis you will find out that forest department versus tribal conflicts are always in news, and you'll always find those things in the newspaper. So wherever you find something about tribal, just take a note out of it from the current affairs also. And most important thing is paper 2, when you are reading tribal, if you certain example is with respect to tribal welfare or certain tribal problem, it is always related to some other topic also with respect to tribes. So these same examples can be used elsewhere in a different answer in a different way. So that over the period of time you will have to understand how to utilize the same example in a different answer as well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Parina. Apurav Kumar.
Sir, my doubt is already cleared with Prerna.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Vamshi Krishna. For diagrams, what are the sources? Essentially, it's a simple question. Varnit.
For diagrams, the sources you'll get a lot of diagrams in anthropology books and various materials available. And if you are finding a breadth of diagrams, you can just take a note of my notes itself. I have made many of diagrams on my own also, flowcharts and different things.
Yes.
So my notes are freely available on Demystify CSE. When you search Demystify CSE with my name, you will get a source to my blog, and I have uploaded it for free. So you can just take a look and find out a lot of diagrams.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll just add there that I think the aspirants need to realize that you cannot just rely on the diagrams made by somebody else. As Varnit has mentioned again and
Yes,
again,
sir.
there's a lot of self-effort that he has done. He made many diagrams on his own. He created those things. So if you are expecting to clear this exam with the flying colors, in 2 digits ranks, there's a lot of self effort required. You cannot just expect that you'll copy paste from other people's creations and then get those kind of ranks or marks. So there's a lot of value addition. That guidance is available, but ultimately self effort to karna hi padega. So you can take that as a starting point perhaps. Okay, Ravindra has a question which you have answered, Varnit, but I'll still let you speak if you wish to speak. How to do value addition beyond basic material? If you want to add further, though you have answered it quite well, I feel.
Sir, so Ravindra, what you can do is sit with each topic. You might have prepared a notes for that. Sit with each topic and try to find out. I'll just give you one example. Okay, with respect to age of menarche and age of menopause, there is a question regularly coming in the exam, a 10 marker. So I just searched the impact of age of menarche and age of menopause on the internet, just a regular search, and I got some research papers. Instead of reading the entire research paper, I just focused on the abstract part and I got to know the impacts. So it says that if the age of menarche is reducing, then your biological maturity and your social maturity gets it stops matching. And once that stops matching, drug abuse, teenage pregnancy, and teenage related crimes increases. So this is what you can write and as a value addition to your answer. Okay, so just a quick internet search will give you many things.
Can I now ask Kamalpreet Kaur to unmute and ask? Kamalpreet?
Hello, yes, sir. So basically, I'm a fresher and I'm about to start anthropology. So I wanted to know, is coaching really important, or can I, rely on self-study completely? And also, how should I start my preparation for this subject?
Okay.
Yeah.
Kamalpreet, may I know your background of education?
So I have done MBA in marketing, basically in management, but I don't have enough things available for management. That's why I'm opting for anthropology.
Okay. So for anthropology, while it's my personal opinion. Okay, people have different opinions. Many of them have prepared without coaching also.
Mm-hmm.
But what is most common in those is they are doctors or they have a biology background. So it becomes very easy for them to comprehend the physical anthropology part of preparation. Okay. Apart from this, I will again tell you all that do not rely too much on coaching, because what happens is coaching can only give you a guidance. So as far as my experience goes, a lot of work has to be done on your own. A lot of practice, a lot of reading. Do not rely too much on coaching materials also, because what happens is if you write the same examples, everybody is writing the same examples, your answers get cliched, and then you average out. Most of the people end up getting 280 or 240, 250 in anthro. So that is what happens when you rely too much on coaching. So you should always have some novelty in your answers. Especially in anthropology, novelty in your answers, your examples matters a lot. So little bit of depth or better examples, internet search or EPW citations are important for enhancing your marks.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kamalpreet. Titus Ghosh?
Yes, sir.
Ask a question quickly.
Sir, I have only one question, that on a daily basis, which test series should I follow? Apart from solving the previous year's questions and doing the notes available, on each topic in the syllabus.
So with this question, I will answer also a common GS query also. Should we go for a 3-4 answer writing practice on a daily basis, or should we go for a 3-hour test series? So
Yes, sir.
in my opinion, you should write 3-4 answers a day only to understand how to write an answer. Okay, to write better
Okay, sir.
answer, to structure, how to introduce, how to conclude. But try to understand this: 3-4 answers is like a 100-meter race. While sitting there, writing a 3 hours, completing the test paper in 3 hours is a marathon. So you should always you cannot think of writing a marathon just by practicing 100 meter race. Okay, so you should write as much full test as you can.
Okay. Thank you, teachers. Urvashi Saini, you want to ask a question now? Or the question is simple. I can read it. Is previous year question enough to practice answer writing? Well, the answer is obvious, but still, Varnit, you can answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, Urvashi. This previous year questions of anthropology are very important source to understand where should we limit ourselves by preparing the syllabus. And in most of the cases, you will find that the same questions gets repeated in a different format. Okay, so you should be able to answer most of these questions, previous year questions. But I'll warn you all that in 2012 the syllabus was changed for anthropology. So before 2012, there are many questions which you'll find that you could not find anywhere in the syllabus now. Okay, so you can ignore those questions, but rest of the questions are very important. For example, this when I was preparing Indian anthropologist part of paper 2, I looked at 25 years of question papers. I could find out same 13-14 names being repeated every. There are thousands of anthropologists. You cannot limit. You cannot read about everyone, but you can prepare those 13-14. And that is what happened. I prepared and I revised the same things over and over again. And NKBOS came and I wrote about NKBOS and got marks. Okay, so your previous year question papers are a very good source of writing practice for test practice as well as preparation.
Okay, now Shantanu has a question where the first part is useless, but I'll go to the relevant part. He says that sometimes I don't have sufficient content for 20 marker questions.
Okay, so that means that you need to practice more. You need to read more. That definitely means you have a content deficit.
Yes.
Okay.
So the content has to be developed by reading and studying and practicing.
Yes, Shantanu.
Sir, what about, let's say, if I get short 5 or 10 minutes and then like I have to decide whether to write just 2 pages in one question and move on to next question, where I would be able to only write like maybe 1 or 2 pages. So should I attempt both by writing partial answers or just complete one answer nicely and just leave the other question?
In that case, if you are actually short of time during the exam, I would suggest you write 2 half answers then a full answer.
Yes.
Maybe you might get 1 or 2 marks extra by doing that.
Yes.
So every marks count. But I should say, don't think all that now. You should practice in next 3 months to complete the paper and give equal time to every answer. That would be the best case scenario.
Yeah, in optional subject, generally, this is also my perception, personal experience, and what I hear, that it's more important to complete the paper. So, though we keep debating this quality, let me tell you, towards the end of the 3-hour time, the quality is anyway, kind of questionable, that if you write for 10 minutes more in the same answer, what kind of quality you're going to get out. Instead of that, attempt half of the other answer, at least you'll get much better marks. So, as very rightly Varnit has said, in the next 3 months, your entire focus should be how to equally distribute time, do justice to all the questions. In exam, we will see what happens, but your practice should be to play that kind of a game. Yes, I totally agree with Varnit on that. Okay, Rajat, I think you have already talked about the Zaksa committee. And Tanya is asking test series that you have answered. Okay, Shivani's question is how to prepare physical anthropology.
Okay. So Shivani, in case for preparing physical anthropology, your 12th class biology book is very important. That gives you basics of genetics, okay, basics of some of the principles. Apart from that, there are 2 more books, P. Nath and B.M. Das. These 2 books, do not read it from cover to cover, from page to page. Only read it from the point of view of syllabus. Whatever is there in the syllabus, read those topics from these books and you'll get a good enough answers for most of the physical anthropology parts. Apart from this, what you can do is you can go to YouTube for some of the genetics related questions regarding genetic pool, genetic load, genetic recombination, CRISPR-Cas9, you can just go through these small YouTube videos of 7-8 minutes and try to understand the entire concept of karyotyping and different things. Once you understand the concepts, it will be very easy for you to make a diagram, to remember the criticisms, and overall structure of the answer will be always in your mind. So use internet very wisely and smartly. It will help you to remember very easily.
Okay. Nidhi's question, Varnit, is that can you please tell a little bit more about answer writing and how much it is important and relevant considering the dynamic portion, to give emphasis to the dynamic portion, like GS papers. So answer writing and emphasizing dynamic portion. If you want to speak a bit on that.
Okay, so see, I will tell you the relevance of answer writing. We all read a lot of books, lot of materials, and we prepare a lot. We have a lot of knowledge, but in the exam we write those 400 pages. Okay, and examiner checks those 400 pages to understand what our understanding, our knowledge, and then based on that he or she gives us marks. We are not there in front of him to tell him, "Ki, we have read this, we have read that," and other different things. Okay, so what we should do is we should practice the way of presentation. First is content. When your content is good, you will be able to produce it there, but presentation matters equally. Okay, my mother is a professor. Okay, so I have seen her checking copies. So I would suggest presentation matters a lot. The way you change paragraphs, the way you present your points, the way you underline keywords is very important. You have to make the examiner's work easy. At a very glance, he should know that you have written everything: made diagram, criticism, structures, principles, introduction, conclusion, examples, thinkers. So he should see it very nicely. Once he sees that, he is satisfied that you have done your work, and he will give you good marks. So this is where your answer writing comes in. So you need to practice answer writing for both GS as well as your optional. It's very important. Next question. What should be the approach of archaeology, paper 2 and paper 1? Okay, so Suraj has asked the question, what should be the approach for archaeology in paper 2 and paper 1? So archaeology part, I used EPGP Pathshala, Vidyamitra YouTube videos, where Professor D.K. Bhattacharya is very nicely, he is explaining different archaeology related things regarding tools and different developments. So in my opinion, apart from the usual sources of prehistory by D.K. Bhattacharya, that book is there. Then you have internet as a source. Then your history knowledge about different sites, that also comes handy. But you should prepare a very detailed study of tools, findings at various sites, who report explored it. Both have to be in what year, that should be written in your answer. That in this year 1949 he reported it first, then this year this person excavated it, and these are the findings. Based on this, these are the conclusions. So this should be the ideal type of answer. And always you can use a map to highlight in a prehistory answer. Always use a map to highlight the regions which you are talking about, site names and different things.
Okay, Varnit, have we taken up Meenakshi Chandan's question? No.
No, sir.
So she says, Meenakshi, go ahead if you're trying to speak. Meenakshi, if you're there, because a lot of people have left, so I don't want to take up their questions. If they have left, we can ignore that. Meenakshi, if you're there, no. Anil Tiwari. Anil has an interesting question, though we know the answer. How to interpret this year's marks? I got unexpectedly good marks, while a friend who got selected got unexpectedly very bad marks.
Okay.
ये तो हमेशा ही होता है.
Sir, I don't know Oh, I don't know how to answer that question.
Then you see, I'll tell you. Let me take that question. This is a typical thing. I don't know if it happened with you, Varnit. After the exam, I always felt myself also that whichever paper you feel you have done well, you somehow get poor marks in that. Whereas somehow you are managing something and you end up sometimes getting good marks in that paper also. So there's no logical conclusion you can draw कि उसका selection हो गया उसके number कम है मेरे marks ज़्यादा है but selection नहीं हुआ. There's a lot of factors that go in your GS papers, your essay. There's so much, you've got 7 papers which are getting evaluated plus interview and whatnot, everything. So many of us also have this habit of analyzing the marks too much. Yes, it is important to see कि how many marks you're getting, where you're getting less, where you're getting more. But let's not over analyze that also. It's your own impression while you're giving the exam. You'll realize it more that are you good in this area, are you not good in this area, what are the fields, how you have to go ahead in a particular paper. Marks sometimes are not a true reflection. So don't overanalyze. जिसका हो गया यार. It's like good for them. आपका नहीं हुआ आप you at least you're getting good marks in Anthro. That means what you're doing is somehow working. So continue to do that. And whatever more value addition you can do, continue. I think that's all. What did you want to add something? Otherwise, we can go to the next question.
That's the next question. I
know
think
these.
explained it.
Okay, Sai Manish, you've written an essay already, so I don't want to read that. Sai Manish Bogineni, you're there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please ask your question, crisp, in one line, please.
Sir, how to make crisp notes like you, sir? Like how you have made. I've downloaded from your blog and I've tried to make that as my source. And I'm also trying to make notes like you, sir. So could you tell me how to make short notes? Because I feel everything is important and I'm in a dilemma as to what to cut short or what to add.
Okay. So whenever you are making notes for anthropology, you should always first look at the syllabus. Second, you need to look at the previous year questions. Then you will get an understanding of which are the type of questions being asked. For that, you can prepare a good introduction. So wherever you find a thinker, you can put it in an introduction. And then for the rest of the part, the material is same. You have to write those important points. But see, for my notes, what I did was, in my first attempt, I made 60-70% of the notes. Second attempt, I completed the syllabus and made the rest of the notes. But those notes were basic notes. There was no value addition in that. In my third attempt, what I did was 3 months I slogged different books and got whatever relevant information I got, minor points or a good introduction or a good conclusion or a thinker or example. I used to write it in sticky notes. Because I had no more space left in my notes. So I had to write it on the margins, on the side or top or the bottom or through a sticky note. So that is how I improved upon my notes.
Okay, sir. And sir, the eternal question of how to balance time between optional and general studies, sir.
So I failed miserably in that in my third attempt because I was so... see, what happened was when I talked to these toppers of 2000... CSE 2017. So when I got to know what they have done to improve their marks, I felt as if I have to take another year to complete that much. So I was so much engraved in anthropology content enrichment that I failed to focus much on GS for my attempt. So when I failed for that, but in my opinion, you should not do. You should actually try to balance your time because every paper is important. And the people who could actually get good ranks, you will find that they have scored pretty well in every paper.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sai Chaitanya Jadhav. Okay, he's not there. We can move. Navratan.
Sir.
Oh, you are there.
Sir,
Okay, just before, so see, you guys can also see who's next in line, so you can get ready to ask your question because I'm going in a sequence. So that we don't waste time, it's already 1 o'clock. Varnit has a lot of fires to fight, and even I have to catch a flight, so we can keep it crisp. Okay, Sai Chaitanya, go ahead.
Sir, basically I have made a tribal, sir.
Okay. Hello.
Whether I have to write one answer.
Okay, it's not audible. Sai Chaitanya, let me read your question. It says, where to collect case studies since I made all basic notes for tribal?
Okay, so for case studies, I have already told you. One is Khaka committee report. On the footnotes, you will have a wonderful case study with citations. So you can just go to those citations online and find other case studies also. Okay. Apart from that, EPW is a very good source. Development files is very good source. Uh, with respect to, you can use the Hindu, Indian Express as your sources. Apart from that, whenever you do a web search and you find something which is a research paper, okay, if I search PVTG's related development on Google, it will give me PK Bhaumik's study in West Bengal. Okay, so that can be cited in a, so just you can go through it and use it as a citation.
Okay. Thank you, Sai. Varnit, any institute test series you would like to recommend considering feedback quality?
Sir, all I can tell you is with respect to test series, anthropology coachings are really wanting, and
Okay.
I do not find any particular coaching which has a complete package
Yeah.
with respect to quality of checking, quality of reporting, or quality of test papers.
So, would you still recommend the best among the lot, or you would say it's of not much benefit?
Sir, I don't think so. It's
Okay.
much
All
of
right.
benefit.
That's fine.
UPSC papers are better than any test series.
You have
UPSC
answered the question very categorically. That's fine. Rishabh is asking, when choosing which question to attempt, what should be the approach? How to go about choosing the question.
Okay, so I followed a multi-pronged approach. My first point was 10 markers, even for a 50, if there is a question which is not first or the fifth question, if there are many parts in the question, where you have clear distinct parts in the question, then always go for that question, because you will be getting marks for each different part of the question. There will be a breakup of parts. Apart from that, wherever there is a possibility of a diagram, you should go for that. But you should also be well prepared to answer all the questions. Then only you can choose. But if you are not prepared for most of the answers, then you cannot choose. So if your preparation is good, then definitely you should use these.
Sir, sometimes like there is a confusion. Like there is a physical side question and there is a social side question. So sometimes it's like the physical side is more scoring, but you have like the length of the answer is not that much appealing as to in a social answer. So in that case, what like you should go for which question?
I usually went for physical.
Physical. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rishabh. Abhishek Jadhav is saying, any book list you could share, Varnit?
Okay, sir, Abhay sir, what I will do is I will share a link to you on the WhatsApp, which you can forward to all of them.
Or you can just type it in here if you can just copy paste.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can just type it so that everybody knows it already. While I'll just ask Rakesh, whose name is Think and Learn. Rakesh, you have a question? If not, Rakesh.
No.
Yeah, okay, we have taken up your question already, I think, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So same. Kanav Singh. Kanav.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
Kanav.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're audible.
Okay. Sir, I want to ask, sir, suppose I am preparing a model answer before going to the examination, then I have to read a lot of material and I'm reading it. And then after, when it comes to making of the model answer, then I got confused which one to choose, which should be left out. Because when it is about writing an answer in the examination, then you have to write 150 or 200 words and 250 words. So in order to restrict the material, it becomes very difficult many a times. So, sir, how to solve this kind of problems?
That is a dilemma that you will face in whenever you attempt for UPSC. My idea was very clear. Whenever I had an option, I would always go for a physical anthropology. Wherever there is a more breakup in a question. In a single question, there are more breakup or different parts being asked. I'll always go for that. And I would never ever go for limiting myself with respect to word limit. That's what I told you. Even for a 10 marker, I would completely write a 20 marker answer. Okay, my idea was to write as much as possible.
Okay, so but they give a word limit that you cannot cross it.
They say it, but in anthropology, what happens is you always make diagrams. Okay, so whenever you are making diagram, that takes up a space, or a flow chart, it takes up a space. So rest of the you will definitely have to. You cannot limit at 1.5 page. Yeah, half of the page is a diagram. So just writing one page for a 10 marker.
So, so my question is, sir, while I'm making, so suppose I'm just reading a topic from paper 2, and I have read like 4 to 5 books for the same topic, and in order to choose between which one is best, like suppose 5 books I've read on the same single topic, and which one is the best, sometimes it becomes very difficult to choose one and leave out the other one. And even the valuation, it's not like that I've made a model answer. It's not going to the final. Even while reading more and more, I will make the value addition in the material.
Okay, so what happens is, choose any one book, make a basic note out of it. Okay, then what you do next is when you read different books, you use whatever extra information that you are getting in other books, you add on. And I would like to suggest to all of you one particular book that helped me immensely in my third attempt. This is U.S. Mishra and Nadeem Hasnain by its name is Socio-Cultural Anthropology by U.S. Mishra and Nadeem Hasnain. This book has a lot of thinkers, a lot of examples, and amazing content. Like, I'll literally say amazing.
Okay, sir. So, sir, I can make these books as a basic book, and after that, I should go for another book. It's not like that while reading it for the first time that I'm opening all the books in the front of me, and then I am preparing the answer. First, I should prepare the one basic book, and after that, I can do value addition.
Yes. Because, in anthropology, what will happen is, in different books, the major content will be same. Some of the other things will be different. I will give you one example for it. It's written on my blog also. That there was this question with respect to ways of acquiring mates in tribal societies in India. Okay, short note on that. So in most of the books, what you will find is 8 types of ways of acquiring mate and examples for that. But while reading U.S. Mishra and Nadeem Hasnain's book, what I found out was this particular classification of 8 types was given by Hobel in 1949. So I used that particular information as an introduction to my answer. And then in the same book, in the ending paragraph, they have written that in the Naga society, there is a new way of, emerging way of acquiring tribal mate, which is widow apprenticeship. Okay. So I used that as a conclusion, that it is not an airtight thing. There are more ways which are emerging in tribal societies.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think value addition.
Yeah. Okay, Varnit, great. Kanav, thank you. Now, may I request the next few people who will ask questions to keep it short. No follow-up questions, please. We don't have that kind of a time. You can definitely interact with Varnit through his blog. So all those resources are with you. Praveen R, you have a question? Okay, Soumya Janjeti. She's asking to share the resources for value addition. I think it's on your blog, you have said already.
Yes.
Prateek Wankhade, if you're there. Prateek Wankhade. Prateek is not there. Okay, all right. Shivani has already asked the question. Piyush Chauhan. Piyush Chauhan, if you're there.
So my question is answered.
It is answered. Great, thank you. So, Sandy Salish. Can I ask Sandy Salish? Okay, Sandy Salish is not there. Just last few questions, Varnit. Sai Manish Bogineni, the blog is not working. Okay, that will be looked at. Aarti Kumari.
It has started working now.
Yeah, Aarti Kumari, if you're there.
Down for some time.
Yeah. Aarti Kumari, if you're there. Aarti?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, sir.
Please ask.
Yeah. Sir, my question is regarding the tribal part of anthropology. Sir, how much should we limit ourselves to the Ministry of Tribal Affairs website? Because there are a few questions on tribal UPSC kinds of explore that area. In 2017, there was a question to write about development program which was brought about by 12th Finance 12th Five-Year Plan. So, how much should we restrict ourselves to Ministry of Tribal websites, and how much should we take out the information from there?
See, use Ministry of Tribal website for stats related to tribals. Okay, various statistics, whatever is there. And second thing is schemes. They will come up. You'll find some good case studies there where they will obviously talk about the good things that has happened. Okay, to the tribals because of those schemes. But do not restrict yourself to Ministry of Tribal Affairs website. You can explore a lot of content on the internet and find out better case studies and better stats also. EPW is a very good source. I found out EPW is a very good source. Search anything on it and you'll find very good examples and nice research papers, but do not go through entire research papers. That is not my idea, that you read the entire research papers. Only go through abstract, just use it for your answers and case studies. Do not go through entire research paper. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we'll take the last question now. Janvi Dalal, if you are there, you can ask. Janvi?
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good
Sir, I
afternoon.
want to ask how to make the introduction more effective.
Okay. Janvi, just now I gave one example where I used a thinker and a ear to introduce that this classification was given by that particular person in this particular year. And then I wrote 8 ways of acquiring mates with proper examples. Then I concluded with the answer saying that there is a 9th emerging way. Okay, so this use thinkers, using definitions, using the research papers Sanskritization definition, marriage definition by different thinkers, culture, civilization definition by different thinkers. You can give a nice introduction. But make it a habit of using some thinker to introduce that particular topic.
Okay, sir. And I have one more question. That when we make the diagram, so should we explain the diagram again after the diagrams?
Some of the diagrams are self-explanatory. They are basically what usually a flow chart is something that what you have written is same thing is in flow chart. Explain to the examiner saying that this is how things are happening. So there you do not need to explain separately, but always in a diagram do not think that it should be to scale. It should be properly looking like a skull. And only thing that is important is you have to do the right markings at right places. That is good enough.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Janvi. Thank you, Varnit. Now, I know a lot of you have more questions. You're writing it there. Now, honestly, we have taken 1 hour, 15 minutes. That's a lot of time. You've got a lot of insights. For any further discussion with Varnit, you can I'm sure, catch him through his blog and ask your doubts. So, on that note, I wish to thank Varnit. Varnit, really very thankful to you. I know how busy things are in the district training, and you still agreed on a Sunday to do this for everybody. It's really a great thing. I'm sure everybody appreciates here your time, and really very thankful. It's always I find interesting to talk to people who have qualified, and rarely people get a chance to speak like this. Almost like one-on-one. And thanks to technology, of course, we can catch people wherever they are. So thank you, Varnit. Thank you, everyone. Varnit, any last words you want to say to the aspirants here before they go for their preparation again?
Yes, sir. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity, for inviting me here to talk to the aspirants. Second thing is, I wish all of you the very best in your preparation, and I actually see most of you where I am sitting right now. Maybe you advising the future aspirants. after clearing the exam. Okay, so prepare the exam with a very positive attitude. Don't even think about what optional is doing good, what is working, what is not working. You should do smart hard work, and especially in old Rajan and the streets of UPSC preparation, whatever rumors or some gossip is going on, ignore that and start preparing. Have faith in your study, faith in your hard work.
Thank you, Varnit. Thank you, everyone. Please do take care, and I wish you all the best for your exam. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.